Today is a day full of very exciting announcements for you guys. So I'm going to present to you Justice Democrat candidate number 1. So she's running in Missouri's 1st District. Her name is Cori Bush. Let me play for you a quick little bio about her. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you why we love her and who she's running against.
My name is Cori Bush. I'm a nurse, an ordained pastor, a social justice advocate, community activist, and hopefully soon, one of your elected officials. I'm a parent. I'm a single parent. So I understand walking through taking care of children by yourself. I understand what that daily routine is like. I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. And then on top of living paycheck to paycheck, to wonder about your future and the future of your children. It's not about the title. I just want to be in a position where I'm able to help people on a larger scale. I've been able to do it on a small scale with no name, no money. And this is why I'm running for United States Congress to represent Missouri's 1st District.
So Cori is, of course, taking no corporate money and no PAC money because she's a Justice Democrat, and she fully understands just how much big money and corporate money has corrupted our system, and she refuses to be part of that corruption. She's running because she actually cares about the people in her district, and she has a track record of fighting for the people. So no corporate money, no PAC money. She's in favor of Medicare for all. She's in favor of free college. She's for ending the drug war and reversing mass incarceration. She's for making the minimum wage a living wage. And she was an early backer of Bernie Sanders. And she even went as far as to speak at some of his rallies. So when I tell you I couldn't be more excited about her, I mean it. She is a perfect candidate. Now, who's she running against? Well, she's running against a congressman named Lacy Clay. Why does he have to go? Because some people might say, well, look, I mean, isn't he somewhat progressive? Isn't he, he's not the worst of the worst when it comes to the corporate Democrats, so why is he being targeted? Well, there's a few reasons. So Representative Clay voted against an amendment to limit military surplus transfers to local cops in 2014. So do you understand what that means? That means that even though he represents Ferguson, he's a backer of police militarization. That is flat out inexcusable. We've all seen, the videos, we've all seen the pictures of just how much across the United States our police departments have become militarized. When they roll out with the tanks, and you have the officers dressed like they're from some kind of sci-fi movie. Now understand, in 1990, the military transferred about $1 million worth of military equipment to police. That number, by 2013, had ballooned to $450 million. So every year, they're funneling millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of military equipment to the cops. And then guess what? When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So that's why we hear all these stories about these SWAT team raids where they're fully loaded and all geared up and they break down the door of a house and, end up gunning down innocent people. They literally blew a baby's face off one time because they used, they threw one of the, I think it was the sound grenades into the crib, I guess by accident, and then it blew up. And so Cori Bush is going to fight back against police militarization, and Lacy Clay literally voted for it. That amendment was proposed by Alan Grayson back when he was in Congress, where he said, enough with this police militarization. This isn't like any other modern nation. We have to reel it in a little bit. And Lacy Clay, even though he represents Ferguson, he said, no, I'm in favor of police militarization. Okay, now we're just getting started here on Lacy Clay. As of 2012, Lacy Clay took $80,000 from the predatory payday loan industry, and he voted to protect them. And get this, the average interest rate on a payday loan in Missouri is 445%. So here you have a guy who pretends to be a progressive Democrat. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's what that is. Are you kidding me? And that was as of 2012. I'm sure the number's gone up since 2012, but $80,000 from the predatory payday loan industry. Not only does he vote on their behalf and side with them, he vocally defends them. So this is very similar to Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, did the same thing, raised money from the predatory payday loan industry, and then kneecapped new regulations that were supposed to roll out that would have protected consumers from those predatory payday lenders. So yet again, that's inexcusable. You got two things so far that are totally inexcusable. Well, now let's dive into the deep end. Lacey Clay has taken over $2 million from PACs, over $200,000 from the insurance industry, $120,000 from the securities and investment industry, and $118,000 from commercial banks. He also supported a free trade deal with Peru. He voted to give billions and billions of dollars to the Export-Import Bank, which is nothing but corporate welfare by another name. And he voted no on requiring lobbyist disclosure of bundled donations. So Lacey Clay, even though on many other issues, he votes in a progressive direction, there's no denying that. What I just laid out for you here is indefensible and inexcusable. He was also part of the group of the Progressive Caucus, which back when there was the debate going on about Obamacare, they originally said, we won't vote for any bill that doesn't have the public option in it, and then they buckled. So we're not talking about a guy who put his neck out on the line and said, Medicare for all, and that's the end of the conversation. We're not talking about a guy who put his neck on the line and said, okay, look, I'll compromise, but public option is the furthest I go. We're talking about a guy who said, look, I'm going to buckle if you apply enough pressure to me. Well, guess what? Cori Bush will not buckle. She's for Medicare for all. She's going to fight for the people. She has a track record of fighting for the people. And by the way, what else lends credence to that is her personal story. She was just describing it. She's like, I know what it's like to work and not make enough money to survive. I know exactly what it's like. I've been through it. So we have a real fighter here for the people. And we have a real progressive option, a liberal option on the ballot. And I am so excited that Cori's running. I can't tell you. Now, we told you when we rolled out Justice Democrats, we're not playing around, man. We are not playing around. This isn't just, hey, we're going to come out here on our shows and talk about it. Isn't this fun? We're pretending to be really important and we're pretending to be part of the game here. No, this has nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with you. It's got everything to do with taking back the Democratic Party from corporate donors. That's issue number one. That's the only issue because it affects all other issues. There's a reason why the Democrats don't push for Medicare for all. There's a reason why the Democrats don't try to get us out of all the wars. There's a reason why they buckle time and time again. It's because they're bought and owned by the industry. They're bought and owned by corporations. In Lacey Clay's case, he's bought and owned by the predatory payday loan industry. Guess what? Cori Bush isn't. She's not going to represent them. She's going to represent the people. So those are your options in Missouri's 1st District. You can either vote for the representative of corporate America or you can vote for the representative of the people. Go to justicedemocrats.com, sign your name in support of the movement. Hey, if you want to run, if you want to get involved, look, put your name in there. If you know somebody who, wants to run or get involved, put their name in there. We have a whole system set up. It involves vetting. It involves training. We have to filter through the thousands and thousands of applicants and figure out who the best options are. And then we have to staff them up and do all these things. There's a lot of work that goes into it. So there's no guarantees personally if you want to get involved and you want to run for office. But the whole point of this movement is we find regular people, working people, who just want to make the country a better place and help their fellow Americans and who do not want to represent the corporations and the special interests. And that's exactly what we have in this instance with Cori Bush. I'm incredibly excited about it. And it's time for Justice Democrats to put some W's on the board. And I think we're off with a good start here.